It all kicks off with Los Angeles 2028, a city that's about to join the ultra-exclusive three-timer club alongside London and Paris. LA hosted in 1932 and 1984, but this time they're doing something Hollywood has perfected: the gritty, realistic reboot. When the torch is lit on July 14th, you won't see any white elephant stadiums. In a revolutionary move, LA isn't building a single new permanent venue. Instead, they're playing a massive game of musical chairs with existing icons. The brand new SoFi Stadium, the pinnacle of the NFL's stadium empire, will be transformed into the largest swimming venue in Olympic history by putting a world-class pool right on top of the football field. The Rose Bowl handles soccer, and in a weird twist of geography, Oklahoma City is actually stepping in to host softball and canoe slalom because their facilities are just that good. But the real story is the program. LA is leaning into its home of the NFL status by debuting flag football. We're also getting squash for the first time, held on the Universal Studios backlot against the iconic backdrop of Courthouse Square from Back to the Future. We'll see the return of baseball and the faster sixes version of lacrosse that hasn't been seen since 1908. Oh, and cricket? It's back in a high-speed T20 format after disappearing for over a century, likely played at the Pomona Fairgrounds. It's basically a greatest hits album of global sports. 2 years later, we head to the French Alps for the 2030 Winter Games. France knows the drill. This is their fourth time hosting, but they're shredding the traditional one-city blueprint. Instead of forcing everything into one valley, the games are being spread across 4 distinct zones. You've got Nice on the Mediterranean coast handling the ice sports, while the skiing and snowboarding events are tucked away in the jagged peaks of Haute Savoie and Savoy. The coolest part is the closing ceremony. Forget sitting in a cold stadium. They're taking over the famous Promenade des Anglais in Nice. Imagine the world's best winter athletes parading along a 7-kilometer stretch of Mediterranean beach. Now, to be honest, sustainability is the name of the game here. They're reusing 93% of existing venues, some of which date back to the '92 Albertville Games. The only real headache is speed skating. Building a new rink is so expensive and useless after the games that the committee is actually looking at hosting it outside of France, potentially in a neighboring country. It's a bold move. If you don't have a good use for a building after the torch goes out, don't build it at all. They're even focusing on decarbonized mobility, upgrading rail hubs so you can get from the Mediterranean coast to the mountain peaks in half the time it takes today. By 2032, we're heading down under to Brisbane. Australia has hosted twice before, Melbourne in 1956 and Sydney in 2000. But Brisbane is getting the ultimate luxury: time. They were awarded the games 11 years in advance, giving them more planning room than any host in history. Of course, they've used that extra time for a bit of political drama. For years, there was a massive debate over where to put the main stage. They looked at rebuilding the historic Gabba cricket ground, but the price tag exploded. Now, the plan is an absolute showstopper. They're building a brand new stadium at Victoria Park, designed to look like a traditional Queenslander home, with massive wraparound verandas where fans can walk around the entire perimeter with a view of the city. But the aquatic center might be even cooler. They're building a national aquatic center at the old Centenary pool site that will hold 25,000 people, more than the swimming venue in Paris, by using massive temporary seating banks. And once the games are over, the Athlete Village in Bowen Hills will be converted into permanent housing for thousands of locals. Finally, in February 2034, we return to American Snow, Utah 2034. Branded as Utah rather than just Salt Lake City, it's arguably the most prepared host in the history of modern sports. When Salt Lake hosted in 2002, they didn't just walk away when it was over. They kept every single venue operational. For 30 years, these tracks and hills have been hosting world championships and training the next generation. Because of that, 82% of residents actually wants the games back. That kind of local support is unheard of in the modern era. It's going to be the most compact winter games we've seen in decades. Everything is within an hour of the Olympic Village. They're even bringing big air competitions right into the heart of downtown Salt Lake City on Block 85, a parking lot transformed into a massive snow rink. Curling is moving to the Salt Palace Convention Center to handle the massive crowds, and the Delta Center, home of the Utah Jazz and the new Utah Hockey Club, will be the epicenter of the ice events. The best part for the taxpayers? The $3.9 billion budget doesn't require a dime of state or local funding. It's a plug-and-play Olympics. There you have it. This roadmap is more like a total takeover. We're entering a 10-year stretch where the rules are being rewritten in real time. We're moving from the glamour of Hollywood to the peaks of the Alps, the sunshine of Brisbane, and the legendary slopes of Utah. The flame is moving, the venues are ready, and the next decade of sports is going to be absolutely legendary.